What's something you enjoy doing but would be embarrassed afraid to tell others? I spend hours every day on Google Earth, to the point where I know a decent amount about nearly every large region on Earth. I hate talking geography with people though, cause I know I come across as a know-it-all. I kinda want to go to a Renaissance fair, like seriously. I don't know why, but I feel like I would enjoy it, but I don't think anyone around me would go. If I'm alone at home or by myself on a long road trip, I like to talk to myself as if I'm carrying on a conversation with someone I know, a TV show host, etc. I do this a lot too if I get into a conversation with someone and didn't like how it ended. So I go through the different scenarios of how I could have handled it better. I also do this as a venting process. If I'm mad at someone, I yell at an imaginary version of that person instead of yelling at them personally. Honestly, I've probably spoken 10x as much to myself as to all other people. Call me weird, but that's how I am. I literally have full-blown conversations about specific topics that can easily last an hour or more. Used to think I was crazy, but now I realize that's just how I process things and am cool with it. That being said, I only do this in private, lol. I enjoy watching and reading romance books, films. I do not seem like a romantic person at all in real life, but some of those books and movies are really good and they get to me. Currently reading Pride and Prejudice. To add on this, I'm a dude in his 20s who loves romance anime. Not cool by any metric, but god, I loved Your Name. Late in the evenings when most people are inside or already sleeping, I would go to the playground and, I hope I am explaining this right, swing on the swings and listen to music. While swinging and listening to music, I feel somehow extremely calm and relaxed, and I didn't find so far any other activity where I can turn off like that and basically feel nothing but pure happiness. I wish there were dedicated playgrounds for grown-ups, because while being almost 30, I do still feel sometimes like a kid inside, and would just want to be able to play and forget about the harsh reality we all live in. Unfortunately, even as a teenager, I was often asked why do I spend so much time on the swings, and meanwhile I can't really swing anymore since I've physically outgrown them. I'm kinda really sad now realizing that grown-ups thought I was a weirdo because I basically wanted to keep the kid inside me alive and continue playing and being happy. But hey, at least I can do my taxes now, right? Fun. Swings are relaxing and fun as heck. Wish it wasn't weird for adults to use them. Sewing. As a guy, some people know I have a sewing machine and use it, but I live in a pretty conservative area and people are weird about it. I tell you what, learning to tailor your own clothes rocks. It's so much easier to buy clothes now, even if the pants are a tad long or loose, or that dress shirt isn't as fitted as you'd like. It's not that big of a deal to just modify them. Sewing is relaxing. You can focus on what you're doing without distraction. It's rewarding to see things take shape, and it's really useful. I really enjoy doing the skincare routine that my fiancé introduced to me. It's a whole process and is almost ceremonious. Picking my nose. I swear people will cop to all sorts of disgusting things, but have you ever had a great big crust of snot from a dry day and really got stuck in there and picked it off? Writing short stories. I don't share them with anyone. Same. I have multiple accounts on writing websites because I'm okay with strangers reading my work, but none of my loved ones. Crossing my legs. I do it when I'm home alone. Makes me feel sophisticated and confident. I used to do it back in college, but I was clowned for it, so I just stopped doing it in public. Keep doing it, dude. It's classy AF. I'm too embarrassed to dance, even by myself. I can hold a rhythm. Former percussionist, and I want to move, but can't convince myself to do so. I've always wanted to learn ballroom dancing, actually. I've always loved playing trading cards games, Magic, Ego, Hearthstone, etc. I'm in my 20s and it's something that people still judge me for, TBH. It's helpful that I have a lot of friends that play those games with me, but it is tough to explain to people that don't play these games. Literally some of the most popular games in the world. Nothing to be embarrassed about. They're also so good. Used to do reenactment. Would do Wild West, Viking, did Boer Wars and crap. There's this little cult following for something called Maryland, known as frat fighting. In the 80s, bunch of college students dress in full armor and then do full contact sports with hardwood poles. My mom's friend's husband is who introduced me to that tier of nerd and I miss it lots. I'm a nudist. I like to be naked when there is no reason to wear clothes. My wife is too. We are often naked at home. And we enjoy nude beaches and resorts. It's a big secret for us. We don't tell our friends or co-workers, because let's face it, most people think it's pretty weird. Or that we're zany swingers who want to swap spouses and host wild orgies. Nah, we just like being naked. It's easier to keep it secret than it is to make people understand. Playing The Sims 4. I've literally been me on our Broth Discord channels for weeks now. I'm in too deep in the thing. My initial character has got grandchildren now. I was really into Sims 2 and 3 when I was a boy. I always joke about playing Sims with my friends, but I'm honestly thinking about getting it. Had so many good memories, but I don't know if I would like it now. I like being naked outside. I have 10 acres that are very private. No neighbors can see anything but my house. I go out back, get on my ATV and ride through the trails in just boots. It's awesome to have the wind and sun all over your body. That sounds so freeing. I wish I could do that, but I live in a large apartment complex. I did once hike in my underwear in a remote area and that's the closest I've come to it. I play the clarinet, mostly always classical music. I feel really dorky sometimes, but I've played for 10 years. Never professionally, but I love it. In 1940, 3 of the biggest hit makers were clarinetists: Benny Goodman, Jimmy Dorsey, and Artie Shaw. There were no guitar gods. Clarinetists ruled the charts. Multiple competing clarinetists. People. Video games. I'm not really embarrassed by it, maybe more afraid to discuss, but I only talk about around people I know are gamers due to many people acting like it's taboo or something. My parents acted like it was a horrible thing when I was growing up too, so that doesn't help. I like to act out scenes and do random voices, inflections and accents throughout the week. Whether I'm at home or driving to work, I'm basically brainstorming characters or scenarios for D&D. It would be a bit embarrassing for someone to walk in on me doing it, and they'd probably think I'm a little nuts. It helps me solidify the personality of characters or figure out a good way to implement plot points, though. I recently started watching anime and I am too afraid to tell others. I also like to lay naked in bed after a shower, when it's not too cold. Imagine being a kid when anime wasn't mainstream. Anime is a lot more accepted now than it was when I was a teenager. For reference, I'm 30. Painting my toenails. It started when my daughter was younger and she would do it, but now I just like the way it looks. I'm a die-hard outdoorsman and the rough type. I just also have lime green toenails. My job. If I tell the bosses how much I enjoy being here, the suckers won't work harder to keep me here, lol. I love getting a mani-pedi with my wife. There, I said it. At first the couple who does the nails looked at me funny, but it's awesome. I feel so clean and proper after. Also, it's a fun little date day we have. I wouldn't dare tell either parents or really anyone. I'm getting my first mani-pedi with my wife on Saturday. I'm so excited to see someone else that is doing this too. I don't really have anything because I've been making an enormous effort to be more accepting of myself and outgoing towards others. If there's absolutely one thing though, it would be doing cardio. I'm a bit of a fat body and very self-conscious about my man titties flopping around when I'm doing jumping jacks, so I do it all in my living room away from others like the coward I am. Every bounce of boob is another step towards greatness, bro. Keep pushing forward. Being 25 and a bit of a bird photographer. I am not super embarrassed or afraid to tell someone, but it is something I always feel a bit weird about. Walking around parks or random roads just looking for birds, since it is something that seems stereotypically for older retired people. Even just doing landscape photography, that has been my passion for longer, or any of my photography feels weird at times, like at my age I should go watch sports, go get hammered or do something manly, but would just rather have a quiet day out in nature looking at landscapes and wildlife. It's because birds are rad. I love Legos. Like most kids, I loved them growing up, and as an adult I've always been fascinated seeing what other people put together. I felt super self-conscious about buying them as an adult for fear of judgment. Why is a grown man playing with kids' toys? I finally took the plunge about 4 years and mostly collect the LEGO Creator modular sets that come out each year. I have 9 altogether. I love looking at them and separating the floors so I can see the details inside. I have a lighting kit installed for a few of them. Putting them together is so fun and relaxing. It's a creative process that I'd compare to painting by number. The first time my parents and other family members saw them, I was sweating and super self-conscious because I was scared they'd make fun of me. They might behind my back, but have never said anything to my face. Only a handful of people in my life know that I do it. I'm 40, wife's 38. We have easily 20k worth combined. Telling people I collect and occasionally paint Warhammer models despite I don't play anymore and probably never will. I keep them stashed away for the most part, as last girl who saw them was like, wow, you have like a really lot of them. Like a real lot. Since then been self-conscious and keep them all biked and hidden away except for only a couple M. Anybody else enjoy crossing their arms in the shower, pulling the water up, and then seeing how loud of a splash you can make when you let it all fall at once? If you have boobs you can get an even bigger splash. Singing. Unlike the top comment, I was not in the school choir, only my primary school one when they let me in out of pity, and I am an atrocious singer. My best friend from primary school said that she used to dread sitting next to me in assembly because of how confidently I would belt out the hymns despite being 100% tone deaf. I've also been told by people close to me that I'm pretty bad, so it's definitely not one of those cases where someone is secretly good at something they think they're terrible at. But despite all this, I absolutely love to sing, and when I know I am completely alone I'll put on some Lizzo and sing to my heart's delight. Anything comic book superhero related. I love it. I'm a proper geek when on my own. Doesn't suit a high pressure military role however, so it never comes out. Singing. Some of my music taste: Disney songs, the classic Barbie songs, musicals, and talking in really high pitched voices to my animals. I garden, and not just veg. I grow all sorts of fruits, flowers, and even bonsai. I also really love roses, and I can't help myself but to beam with pride when I can present my wife with a huge bouquet of what I've grown. Yes, for her, but for me too. I also grow orchids and I propagate plants like my life depended on it. Almost no one knows this about me. Heck, I even built a greenhouse that is strong enough to withstand Colorado weather just so I can grow these plants. I was always told it was too feminine of a hobby. Sometimes when I'm home alone and I'm cooking dinner, I pretend that I'm a TV chef who is currently filming a show. So, basically I explain everything I'm doing, make comments as though I was an expert, etc. It's very silly, but it's a lot of fun. Another thing I enjoy doing while home alone, or when my wife is already sleeping, is to gather my favorite German and English poems online and recite them very theatrically, as though I was doing it on a stage in front of a large audience. I love literature, poetry, and I love acting, so that's maybe where this comes from. I feel very shy about it though, which is why I don't want to be seen doing it, unless I'm actually doing it on a stage. That would be okay. As for NSW stuff, I enjoy watching my wife with another guy. Also something I wouldn't tell anyone in real life. I actually don't feel embarrassed about it, but I know people are super judgmental, prejudiced, and I don't want to deal with that. That probably actually makes you a better cook, ironically. People often learn by teaching others, even if those others aren't real. I like chick flicks. 500 Days of Summer. Hit me up, fam. I'm a buff Viking-faced son of a bee with a Viking beard, acidic humor, face of someone who would twist your neck because you looked at me wrong. Ex-Leo. Do you know how much trust would I lose if said I loved Mamma Mia? LOL. I build scale models, planes, F1 cars, tanks, figures. My work has been published and I've won competitions, but I still don't talk to people in my personal life about it because it's seen as really nerdy and a hobby only done by old guys. I eventually got over it, but fingerboarding, not tech deck, but the huge scene of real wooden ply decks. bearing wheels made out of real urethane, and tuned trucks. I even ended up getting pretty good and follow every fingerboarder and company. It pretty much filled that missing piece that skateboarding provided after I finally quit from repeated injury. I had some people roast me and I wouldn't bring it up to anyone but my close friends. I even got some of them into it. Now, I don't give a crap. I did, however, lie to my buddy about how much I paid for my current setup. I told him $20. But it was actually $100. The trucks alone are almost $50. $100 for a tiny little skateboard toy. LOL. I'm addicted to K-pop. I've been a metalhead since a kid, but ever since the pandemic, I got hooked into the K-pop world. My family and some friends know about it, but my main group of friends don't, cause we always crap on K-pop a few years back. LOL. I got addicted to IZ*ONE, Dreamcatcher, and 17. I found K-pop during the pandemic. BTS for me, and I love it. It's just joyful and feels like escapism. Literally got me through fourth quarter burnout last year. I didn't tell anyone about it for a while and then I decided I didn't care. Even found a co-worker who is a fan. My hobby is making beats producing, which I've been doing for 3 years now almost daily. Only 3 friends know I'm doing it and family members of course. But even they don't know how invested I actually am in it. I really want to show it to my friends, but I already know they won't understand it and aren't interested in the genre. I want to share it on my Instagram when I'm making something, but I know everyone is going to think it's cringy and uncool, so I keep it very low key. When I make music I usually have my headphones on even though I've got expensive studio monitors, because I'm always thinking that I bothers my family members. Hey, I have a friend who's exactly like this with his music too. DM me with her stuff and I'll give it a listen. I know how it feels to not be able to show her friends stuff, and when you do they just go neat and don't understand. I have social media accounts that I use just to compliment people and write friendly encouraging things. Not for friends and family but to strangers in groups or YouTubes or TikToks etc. It's not really something I'm embarrassed about, but one of my favorite things to do after everyone is asleep is to go to my music room, have an edible and get lost in the music for a while. It's almost spiritual and I come away feeling refreshed and recharged. That does sound cool. I bought some really good headphones recently and like to chill with a scotch and music all by myself. Just forget the world. I love to lay down next to my dog and feel his warmth and smell him. He's not at all a stinky dog and he loves to be close to me. He makes me feel relaxed and happy. It's just, some people may get the wrong idea or maybe not. I don't know. I used to love that too. His smell was really comforting to me. I miss my dog so much. Feel weak or small. I don't ever show my ladies that I have fear, weakness, or feel small. I am the rock. The mother of my daughter had a miscarriage before gifting me my daughter. It broke me inside and I still cry thinking about it. I have never cried publicly about my loss. I had to hold strongly as the mother collapse, along with her daughters. The loss hit us all hard and I held firm for them. I have processed that pain and I'm much better now. I am ashamed of nothing, except the fact that I'm a grown man who still likes to play with my secret action figures like a child when my wife isn't home. I have 3 dogs. They all have their own voices. My bulldog has a lisp and is pretty crass. My Min Pin is always talking about his big dong and has a super high pitched voice. My Pomchi is Italian. I got her after a trip to Italy. She starts every sentence with Mamma Mia. Reading a lot of these comments just makes me sad. I hope I can properly pass on to my daughter my attitude of just, while friendly and outgoing plenty enough, I basically try my best to never give a low flying frick about what other people think. I do basically all of the top comments. I swing with my daughter. I play video games. I love Lego. I goof off when I'm alone. I wonder sometimes if I might have some spectrum or TTs of sorts because I love making stupid butt sounds all the time. I comb my beard too much. I have a healthy, giving, mutual sex life with my wife, and with myself. Plus a few weird things I won't get into. Unless someone asked probably. LOL. I try to maintain a healthy socially consciousness and awareness on when I'm oversharing, but I always enjoy what I want and I have friends that have lasted me a lifetime of 30+ years and counting. Lord willing. Plenty to go. I know they don't always care what I'm into at the moment and I try to be aware of the general social cues on that stuff, but I love my life and wish more people could feel like that, I guess. Who cares what other people think of you? Their acceptance is really going to make having or not the things to do and enjoy in your life more fulfilling. Frick that. Cheers and be good to others and especially yourself, everyone. I took the ice swing with my daughter part wrong and almost had a heart attack. I'm 50U and I love watching these streamers on Twitch. I grew up gaming and am still a gamer to this day, but watching people game at my age is a little cringe. For the record, I watch little TV. If I do watch the TV, it's usually Twitch. It's literally how I unwind. Don't know why I am so into it. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.